In this tutorial, I'll show you how to use multiple UV maps in Blender so that you can place multiple textures on different locations on a single object. And so for example, in this tutorial, I'm going to be texturing this cardboard box. And if you want to follow along with the exact same 3D model and textures, then you can download the free project files. So the free project files will come with a startup file where you can texture the box, and it'll also come with the textures. Or you can also download the textures from the original texture websites. So I'll have the links in the description to the original texture sources. So what we're first going to do is add a cardboard texture to the cardboard box. Then we're going to add this other layer, which is kind of like dirt or damage over the surface of the cardboard. And then we're going to be adding this icon here onto the cardboard. And so we'll be using different UV maps to place them on different locations of the box. So if you download the free project files, it's going to come with this startup Blender file with this cardboard box, or of course you can do this on whatever model you're using. And so what I'm now going to do is click over here to go to the shading workspace. And I'm going to click on new to add new shader nodes to the cardboard box, and we can just rename this. So now what I want to do is use the principled texture setup to automatically set up the cardboard textures. So let's click here on edit. We're going to go to the preferences, and in the user preferences, if you go over here to add-ons, you can go to the search and search for node and just enable the node wrangler add-on. So with the node wrangler enabled, I'm going to select the principled shader and I'm going to hit Control-Shift-T. So Control-Shift-T is going to bring up Blender's file browser. And so now we're going to locate to the cardboard textures. So again, if you download the free project files, then you'll get the textures that you'll need to use, or you can download them from the original website and just extract the zip file when you download it. So if I go into the folder, these are all the original files. So what I'm going to do is click on the color, then hold down the Control key and click on the roughness and the normal GL. So just those three textures. And we're going to click on Add Principled Texture Setup. And so you can see it's going to automatically set up all the textures. Now, if you don't know how to properly set up texture maps manually, then I think it is a good idea to know how. So you can check out this video with the link in the description where I show you how to properly set up texture maps. I do just think it's a good idea to know how to set it up manually. Like for example, the color space need to be set to non-color for textures which aren't contributing to the base color, and also like using the normal map and where to plug them up to the principled shader. So let's now hold down the Z button and go into the material preview just to see what the box is looking like. And so just so you can get practice with UV unwrapping, what I'm going to do is click over here to go to the UV editing workspace. And what I'm going to do is hit the A key to select the entire mesh. And then I'll just hit U. And I'm just going to click on the Smart UV project because for kind of square boxy objects like this, the Smart UV project works really well. And then I'll click on unwrap. So you can see it's now unwrapped it. It's kind of flattened all those. So like those thin ones there, those are like the little edges. And then the larger parts here are like the square parts of the box. So now what I can do is hit S to scale, and I can like scale the UVs bigger and kind of scale the UVs up. And if for some reason you don't see the cardboard texture in the background, what you can do is click right up here and you can just click on the cardboard texture. So then hit tab to go to edit mode and hit the A key to select the entire mesh. And then you can hit the A key to select the UV islands, and you can just scale it up and down. And then also you can see like right here, I want this to be rotated over in the other direction. So what I'm going to do is just select all of the pieces of cardboard that I want the cardboard texture to be going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key and Alt select that loop all the way around there, and I'll hit R to rotate and type in 90 and then hit enter. So you can see now it's going up and down. And let's see on the inside, that looks pretty good. It's going up and down right there. All right, so now let's click back over here to go to the shading workspace. So the next thing that I want to do is add the grunge to it. So I'm going to hit Shift A for the add menu. I'm going to click here on the search, and I'm going to search for image texture, and we're going to drop the image texture right here, and then let's click on open to open a texture. So the next texture is this decal 12 texture. So I'm going to go into this folder. So you need to extract the zip file and then go into the folder. And then you can see we have these different textures here. I'm just going to add the opacity one and then click on open image. So now what I can do is I can mix this here into the color. So to mix it into the base color, I'm going to go to the add menu and I'm going to search for mix color. Let's add the mix color node and we're going to drop it right here. So what I'm going to do is Control-Shift select the opacity. So you can see this is what it looks like right now. And so what we want to do is we want to put this value, this color value, into the factor, because if we put the color into the factor is determining what part is going to be color A and what part is going to be color B. So we're basically going to use the white and black values as a mask. So where it's black, it's going to be the cardboard, and then where it's white, it's going to be the grunge. So now let's Control-Shift select the mix to preview it, and you can see the cardboard is right there, and then the grunge is white. So color B, that's going to be the grunge color. So for example, I could just make it maybe like a dark gray, so it kind of looks like dirt, or grunge, or damage. And then I can Control-Shift select the principled BSDF. So now you can see the cardboard looks a bit damaged, but I want to kind of move it around because I don't really like where it is. So we can go over here to the UV editing. Now here's the main thing that I'm teaching in this tutorial, which is if you select the island and you try to scale it, you can see it's scaling both textures at once. So what if I want to scale the grunge, but I don't want to scale the cardboard? Well, for that, we need to create a separate UV map so we can UV unwrap it differently. So let's click back over here to go to the shading workspace. And let's just make this a bit smaller so I have a bit more space. And so what I want to do is I want to add a UV map here and then add a separate UV map here. So I'm going to hit Shift A for the add menu. I'm going to search for UV map and we're going to add the UV map node, put it here. And then we're going to put the UV into the vector because on default it just uses the single UV map. If I open up the side panel and click over here to go to the object data properties and open up the UV maps, on default Blender's objects just have one UV map, so all the textures on default are just going to use that single UV map. But we can override that and tell it to use a different UV map. So what I'm going to do is double click on this UV map to rename it, and I can just call it cardboard. So it's really nicely organized. So I can just remember what all the UV maps do. So then what we can do is we can click on the plus here, and that's going to add a new UV map. And then I can double click on this to rename it. And I'm going to call this one grunge. So now if I click here on the UV map dropdown, I can force this decal to use the grunge one instead. But then here on this one, on default, if you just have the texture coordinate node and the UV is plugged up, this one is automatically going to use whichever UV map is the active one. Now the active UV map is the one which has the camera icon. So if you click here on the camera icon, that's going to change which one is active. So now let's just change the UVs. So what I'm going to do is click over here to go to the UV editing workspace. And then what I want to do is bring my mouse right up here in the UV editor, and I want to scroll my mouse wheel over, and you can see right here you can actually choose between editing the cardboard UV map or the grunge UV map. So now what I can do is hit the A key to select all the UV islands, and I can, for example, scale them down so they're bigger, but you can see I'm scaling this and it's scaling the grunge, but it's not actually moving around the cardboard. So I can just move the grunge, scale it, and rotate it without moving the cardboard texture. However, if I were to go back here to the UV maps by going to the object data properties and then clicking here to change this to the active one, you can now see when I click on that to change it to the active one, the cardboard gets bigger, and now when I kind of scale this, the cardboard texture is moving along. And that's because we didn't specify which one the cardboard texture was going to use, so it uses the active one. So you can just leave this cardboard one as being the active one, or you can force it to use the cardboard one. So what you can do is click back here to go to the shading workspace, and then what I can do is click on this UV map node, and I'll hit Shift D to duplicate it and drop it down here. And then I can take the UV and I can plug that here into this reroute, and then I can click and drag and select these nodes, and I'll hit X to delete them. So now we're just using this UV map. Now there was a mapping node, and if you want to use a mapping node for some reason, you can of course just search for a mapping node, and you can add a mapping and just put it here after the UV map. So then you could use this mapping node to, for example, like scale it or rotate it, whatever you want to do. So if you want to use a mapping node, you can, but I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that because I don't actually need a mapping node. So I'll just delete the mapping node. So now right here, instead of it being grunge, we want to set this to cardboard. So that way these textures are using the cardboard UVs, but then these ones here are using the grunge. So now what I can do is just go back here to the UV editing workspace, and I want to scroll right over here and click right up here, and we want to make sure we choose the grunge one. So now I can just kind of scale this, and maybe I'll make this a bit smaller. Let's just kind of move it over here. So currently we're just using the Smart UV project, and the Smart UV project works really well for kind of boxy shaped objects, but you can see right here, this texture isn't overlapping to the other texture. So the grunge just kind of ends here on this side of the box. So to fix that, if I go to the face select and hit the A key to select the faces, you can see I can like select this face and then just hold down Shift and select this face, and you can see that they're on the opposite sides of each other. So if I click right up here to go to the face select, I can then click here to select this face, and I can hit G to grab, and then I can click down with my middle mouse wheel to constrain it to the X-axis, and I can just drag it over here. Let's zoom in, hit G to grab on the X-axis, and just bring that really close so they're touching each other. Now you can see it still doesn't look correct because the grunge doesn't carry over, so I need to rotate this face. So I'll hit R to rotate, and I'm going to type in 180 for 180 degrees and hit enter. So now if I hit the A key to select everything, hit the A key to select all the islands, and hit G to grab and move it around, you can see the grunge kind of carries over to that other side of the box. Now you could also like add seams and UV unwrap the box. And so if you want to learn more about UV unwrapping and like adding seams, then I do have a UV unwrapping for beginners tutorial, which you can check out. The link is in the description if you want to learn more about UV unwrapping. So then what I can do is just select different faces. So like maybe like this face here, maybe I don't want to have grunge. So I can just hit S to scale this way down and just stick it here into the black area. Also like this one here, I could maybe rotate it by 90 degrees, something like that. Just put the grunge where you want. Like that. Maybe this corner here, maybe I'll scale this down and bring it into the black area so it's smooth. So I can just add the grunge where I want. Maybe this one I'll scale it up a bit so there's a bit more grunge. So let's click over here to go back to the shading workspace. Now what you might also want to do is you might want to change how strong the grunge is. So what I can do is hit Shift A for the add menu, and I can search for a hue saturation value node, and I'm going to put this here between the opacity and the mix. So just stick it right there. And why I'm adding a hue saturation value is because we have this value, and if I drag the value, that's going to make it lighter and darker. So if I just Control Shift select the hue saturation value, you can see it's going to make it lighter and darker. And so because that's going into the factor, if it is lighter and darker, that's going to determine how visible it is. So for example, I could just drag the value down, maybe to like a 0.5, and now you can see the grunge is still there, but it isn't quite as visible. Now what I want to do is I want to add this decal, but I want to add it into the normal. So what I'm going to do is add the normal map. So I'll hit Shift A for the add menu. I'm going to search for image texture, and I'm going to drop this right here, and then I'm going to click on open. So we're going to go back to the same folder, and I'm going to select the normal, and we're going to click on open image. And then because this is a normal map, it's not contributing to the base color of the material. So on the color space here, instead of sRGB, we want to change this to a non-color. And then just to organize this a bit better, I can box select these nodes. Let's drag it up here, and then box select all the nodes and drag them down. And with all these nodes selected, I'm going to press F to join it into a frame, and I'm going to call it grunge and then hit enter. And then right down here, this texture, I can click on this frame and hit F2 to change the label, and I can just call this cardboard. Just to keep things nicely organized, you can also drop this UV map here into the cardboard frame. And then what I also want to do, if I go back here to the normal, is I want to make sure it uses the same UV map. And why it needs to use the same UV map is so that it overlays on top of the color map. So we're going to put the UV into the vector. Now what I want to do is mix this into the normal, and a really easy way to mix two normal maps together is to search for a mix color node. Let's drop this here, and on the mix type here, we're going to change this to overlay. So now let's just drop it right down here. Then what I can do is just take this normal color, and we can put that into the top one, and then this normal one, this one is going to go into the bottom one. And then if you drag this factor here, that's going to determine how much it's using. So I can just like go right over here, take a look at this. Now if I drag the factor up and down, you can see it's actually controlling the cardboard bump and not the grunge. So what I'm going to do is actually unplug this, and I'm going to put the grunge normal into color B, and then the color is going to go into color A. So we're basically going to switch them. Now if I kind of drag the factor back and forth, you can see it's controlling the strength there of that grunge. So I can just make it a bit less strong. So now the cardboard just looks a little bit damaged because it has a little bit of bump there. So now what I want to do is add the icons onto the box. So to add the icons, I'm going to hit Shift A for the add menu. I'm going to search for image texture. Let's drop this here, and then we'll click on open. And so this time I'm going to be using this fragile kind of box icon image from Pixabay. So you can download it with the link in the description, but it'll also be in the project files, and I'll click on open image. Now this one is going to contribute to the base color, so we can leave the color space set to sRGB. So now what I'm going to do is select the principled shader and material output and drag it back, and we want to mix it here into the color. So I can duplicate this mix node, the mix color, and we're going to drop it right here. Now if I Control Shift select the fragile icon here, you can see that's the color, and then if I Control Shift select it again, there's the alpha. And the alpha is basically saying where it's going to be transparent and where it's going to be the color. So we can actually put this alpha into the factor. So that's going to be the mask to determine where it's going to be color A and where it's going to be color B. So I'll now just Control Shift select the principled shader, and you can now see that the icon is there, and this color here, color B, that's going to be the icon. So we can take the color of the icon and put the color into color B. So now wherever the icon is visible, it's that red color, but then it's going to be transparent in the rest of the areas, so you can just see the cardboard box. Now the problem with this is that it's all stretched and everything, and so if we go back here to the UV editing workspace and select everything and try to scale it, you can see it isn't scaling the texture texture, it's just scaling the grunge. So if we scroll right over here and click on the grunge and change it to cardboard, we can scale this, but you can see as well as it's scaling the icon, it's also scaling the cardboard. So what we need to do is add a third UV map. So here on the UV maps here, on the object data properties, we're going to click on the plus. We're going to double click on this to rename it. And we're going to rename it to icons and hit enter. So now what we want to do is go back here to the shading workspace. We're going to hit Shift A for the add menu. We're going to search for the UV map and drop it here. And then we want to plug the UV into the vector of the fragile icon. Then if we click here on the drop down, we want to choose the icons. So now that is a separate UV map. So we'll go back to the UV editing workspace. We're going to select the icons. Let's scroll our mouse right over here and make sure we are viewing the icons. So now we can just re-UV unwrap this. So for example, I could hit A to select everything, and we can hit U to unwrap, and we could do Smart UV Project and click on unwrap. And you can see for some reason this texture is always pretty stretched, and I believe that's because this texture is really long here. So I can just hit S to scale along the X-axis, and I can just scale this up just like that so that these are like square again. And let's scale it up a lot bigger, and then I can also rotate it. We'll type in 90 and hit enter. Now you can see there is a problem with this, and that is that even if I kind of get this one right down here, it is kind of repeating itself. And so there's the texture again right up here. So to fix that, we can go back here to the shading workspace. And what we can do is go to the fragile icon. And right here, it's set to repeat on the extension, but we can change it to clip instead. And so by changing it to clip, it's only going to use the texture once. So you can see there's just like one texture right there. So now let's go here to the UV editing workspace, and I'll hit G to grab and just kind of move it around like that. And you can see that one there, that square is the one right there. So we actually don't really even need to use all the other UV islands. We can just select this one here, and we can drag it, move it, and rotate it. Now what I want to do is make sure that this isn't like squished or stretched. So I'm going to hit 1 on the numpad to go to front view and zoom in here. And I'm going to hit U to unwrap, and I'm going to click on project from view. And what that's going to do is UV unwrap it and just flatten it from our view. So now I can kind of scale this up, and I can move it down here, hit G to grab, move it down here, and I can rotate it and just stick the fragile icon right down there on the bottom of the box. Maybe even make it a little bit smaller. And we can now just jump back here to the layout, and I'll hold down the Z button and go to the material preview, or you can go into the rendered view. And so we now have 3 different layers of textures with 3 different separate UV maps. So we have the cardboard, we have the damage, and then we have the icon. So that's how you can use multiple UV maps to do more advanced texturing setups. So I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching. And if you'd like to get in some more practice and model and texture some more models, then you might be interested in checking out my photorealistic interior creation course, where we create this realistic kitchen interior. And so in that course, we model and texture some more models like a microwave, a stove, a fridge, and a trash can. And so we use a similar setup to this where we add different UV maps. So we add like a UV map for the buttons on the microwave and also like the little icons on the stove. And we can also layer surface imperfections on the microwave and stove and other objects. So if you'd like to check out that course, then I'll have the link in the video description. And before I end the video, here's a quick video about the course. In this Blender course, I will teach you photorealistic interior creation in Blender. So throughout this tutorial series, I'll show you the entire process of creating this realistic kitchen interior scene. So what will you learn in this course? You'll learn how to model to the real life world scale, how to block out interior scenes, you'll learn interior modeling like windows, cabinets, and countertops, you'll learn how to set up texture maps and edit the UV maps. You'll learn how to create basic procedural materials like brick, plastic, and metal, how to add surface imperfections to objects to add realism, how to add decals to objects within the materials, using multiple UV maps to place textures, decals, and surface imperfections. You'll learn furniture modeling like bar stools, an oven, a fridge, a microwave, and more. You'll learn object and prop modeling like mugs, plates, vases, switches, and more. And we'll be going over some compositing effects to add more realism to your render. And you can find the links to the course in the video description.